What it do, YouTube crew? It's your boy A Benji. We're back with another reaction video. Today we got the history of the DDT wrestling move origins. By far, I would have said that is one of my top 3 finishing moves. Along with that would be the RKO / the stunner, and Twist of Fate. But they all kind of like basically the same thing, to be honest. But you can't lie. And then I guess the super kick. I put all those in one category, DDT and then super kick. Not in that specific order, but 5 minutes 49 seconds. We're going to dive into this bad boy. So without further ado, A bitch crew, you know what to do. Let's hop into this bad boy. Let's roll.
When you think of a wrestling move that every current wrestler has attempted at some point, the DDT immediately comes to mind. It's quick yet effective, and this has led to so many different variations of the move being established in the ring. Watch any promotion today and you're bound to see some form of a DDT being hit. But the move has evolved a lot since it was first used, all the way back in the 1970s, with Mexican wrestler Black Gordman being its innovator. But it would be Jake the Snake Roberts who eventually popularized the maneuver in North America, starting in 1984 in Mid-South Wrestling. Jake's use of the DDT came from a complete accident, as Jake's foot was stepped on by his opponent whilst in a match, leading to both wrestlers falling down to the mat.
I couldn't move my legs, so we lost balance. And he stepped on my foot, and we went down.
What a huge pop.
Oh my God, man. He was smart enough to stay there. I turned him over and covered him, barely kicked out, but the people were talking about that move.
The name DDT was created after Jake learned the news that the pesticide of the same name had been outlawed due to its dangers.
The DDT is like a name that long of some poison the farmers were using on the crops. It was getting into the bloodstreams and into our food chain, and that's where I stole that.
Poison? I like that. Jake the Snake with the DDT.
Even from its first use, the quick release and snap made the move look so devastating, as the opponent would be driven headfirst into the mat. Jake the Snake would establish the DDT as one of the great finishing moves of the 80s and early 90s.
But if you think about it, how many wrestlers actually use the DDT? A great bit of them use that move. Undertaker, I think Kane, Randy Orton, maybe Dolph Ziggler. I'm naming old wrestlers that, but they're not old, but from when I used to watch wrestling. I don't know really too much of the newer generation of wrestlers now, but those are the main ones. Stone Cold, I think, maybe. I could be wrong. I don't remember all the movesets, but
he would pride himself on how effective the maneuver was in keeping opponents down. And it was this effectiveness that led to other wrestlers adopting the DDT into their moveset. These included Arn Anderson, who made sure to emphasize the fast snap element of the move whenever he hit it.
I tried to explode into my version of it. I wasn't stealing. I was actually paying homage to something that I saw that looked like a kill shot.
Mick Foley would make the move his own by double hooking the opponent's arms to execute what would be the double arm DDT. A variant of the move that today is still a signature maneuver, with the likes of Drew McIntyre's Future Shock and John Moxley's Paradigm Shift.
I clearly meant to say Drew McIntyre and I said Cody Rhodes. I think about did Cody Rhodes just beat Brock Lesnar? I hope I ain't ruining it for nobody, but yeah. Ooh.
In the mid to late 90s, the DDT would be a move used by a number of wrestlers in ECW, with the likes of Tommy Dreamer and Raven using it as their finisher. As time went on, more variations were created, such as the reverse DDT, tornado DDT, and cradle DDT, also being regularly hit throughout wrestling. The most famous of these was a version of the reverse DDT executed by Sting called the Scorpion Death Drop. Sting introduced the move in 1996 and used it for a number of titles, including the WCW World title against DDP on Nitro, which received a huge pop. However, the more versions of the DDT that would be created, the more watered down the original move would become, and what was once one of the most devastating maneuvers in wrestling was now becoming a setup move. This continued into the 2000s, as wrestlers continued to find more creative ways to hit the move, thus rendering the basic version of the DDT less and less effective. Even wrestlers who once used the modified version of the traditional DDT as their finisher, such as Edge, would instead begin using the spear to finish matches. By the mid-2000s, the
Randy
basic
Orton.
DDT would no longer be considered a finishing move, bar a select few who still used it as their finisher. The traditional DDT was now on par with the suplex and neckbreaker in terms of being a transition move or something a wrestler might use for a near fall in their match. Nevertheless, some superstars have still managed to make it look devastating with their selling of the move. In particular, the likes of RVD and Neville.
Top rope. Oh, DDT.
I forgot about Neville.
Neville's out.
The DDT is a move that wrestlers continue to reinvent to this day. But it's still always
nah,
cool
those
to see
risky.
someone
I
bust
can't
out the
do those
original,
types.
even though it's not used to finish a match anymore. And that doesn't bother its most famous user, Jake the Snake Roberts.
People often ask me, so, well, Jake, don't you get mad at these guys that are using the DDT now for a false finish? I'm like, no.
No, he paid the way. They make sure they add when you create your character in any WWE game, that is always an option. And I choose it. I love the one where it's like you sweep your leg, you drop real quick on it. I love that one. Honestly, I know he can't be mad because he know he's the first guy over here in America to do it. I think they said what, Mexican guy did it, Hispanic guy.
I think it's great. Because all they're telling the people is they're not half as good as I am. Because if I did it, you didn't get your ass up.
Right.
Over the past couple decades, we've seen countless innovations of the DDT over the years, such as Eddie Guerrero's Tornado DDT, Undertaker's Running DDT, Sami Zayn's Suicide Dive DDT, Rey Mysterio's Sliding DDT, and Randy Orton's Draping DDT. There are only a handful of superstars in recent years who have actually used the variation of the DDT as their finisher, but the most impressive has to be Kalisto's Salida del Sol, which is an elaborate variation of the reverse DDT. Who can forget that time he hit it off
tiny
the
silk.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, I know they got hurt.
The DDT will never die. It will always be a part of wrestling as wrestlers continue to find new and inventive ways to hit it. But let's not forget where it all began, from when Black Gordman first hit the move in Japan in the 70s, to when Jake the Snake Roberts made it one of the most recognizable maneuvers in the 80s and 90s. It was the original out-of-nowhere wrestling move, and the legacy it has left is unmistaken.
We continue with the first round. Wait a minute.
And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, do check out our other videos in the series, such as the origin of the cutter, or what's otherwise known as the RKO. Have a great day.
Ooh, that's gonna be
I'll
a
see you
good
next
one.
time.
We gotta come back and react to that one. We gotta come back and react to the RKO. Like I said, Twisted Fate, RKO, the Stunner, and all those I put in the same category, but that right there, that was my favorite. Randy used to hit that little cycle. But well, he said it originated in the 70s in Japan. I don't know where I get that first part from. I may have misheard, but let me know y'all thought of the video down in the comment section down below. Let me know what's your favorite wrestling move, and yeah, I want to see what y'all favorite wrestling move is. But my top three always been RKO / Stunner / Twisted Fate, the Super Kick, and the DDT. Nobody beat Shawn Michaels when it comes down to the Super Kick, especially Sweet Chin Music. But today, bitch, you know what to do. We are out of here. Peace.